Hi, this is Methling with Ancient Healings Around the World. I'm sitting in front of an art museum here in Barcelona, Spain, as you can see behind me and all around. So today's topic of discussion is around Europe versus America. Not that we're against each other, but this is about our similarities. And I will be touching on a little differences as well. But the truth of the matter is, all people on this earth are all similar. We all have physical bodies, minds, thoughts, dreams, spirit. Yes or no? Yes. People all around the world are constructed the same because we are all from the same planet. And we have emotions, feelings, desires, needs, and wants. So that's how we're similar. I'm going to be talking more ways in how we're similar as well, besides the physical aspect, the spiritual aspect. From country to country, you will see people with clothes on. You'll see people walking in shoes, similar clothing, similar coats. So the clothing is very similar. The fashion is, believe it or not, between America and Europe is very similar as well. It's not that much different. No, it's not. I did notice with the fashion, the girls were wearing these tight anklet jeans with anklet socks and sneakers, little gym shoes, when it was quite cold out, bare ankles. So that seems to be the trend, not only here in Europe, but I believe in Asia as well. So that was consistent. So people are all similar. I have a little list here, so I might be referring to that. The food is similar. In each country, you will see different countries represented. All different foods, cultures, Turkish, American, Italian, French, Mediterranean. All countries seem to be represented in each country. I did notice when I was in Italy, most of the food, however, was Italian. Now in the other countries, it wasn't mostly Spanish food and wasn't mostly French food. It was a wide variety. In America, you have a wide variety of food as well. Why? Because American people are all Europeans or from all around the world, migrated. Why? Because prior to the 1700s, America consisted of mostly Indians. So America was founded in 1776, whereas Europe was founded 100, 200 AD. There was life here even BC, thousands and thousands of years before Jesus arrived. So, moving forward on our similarities, looking at my list here, religion. All different religions are represented in each country. Here in Europe, of course, I've been focusing on Catholicism. That's right, Catholicism. That's where I started. That was my foundation. But I will be moving in to explore other religions and cultures as I move through the world. Muslim, Buddhist, Jewish, all of that and more. We all believe in a God. My God's right, your God's not. No, that's not true. So, religion is represented in all countries. We have cars. There are cars in these countries, similar to the cars in America. We have public transportation, the same. We have buses, trains, terminals, airplanes, boats. They have it all here in Europe, just like in America. It's running the same way, on lines, color coordinated. Speaking of color coordinated, that's another similarity with the countries. We all understand symbols. Symbols of the toilet, of the train, of an exit sign, of an arrow, of a green light, to walk, or to go with your car. Symbols is the same language, just like they used pictures and symbols and images on the hieroglyphics or in Egypt to tell a story, information. We all could understand symbols and colors and numbers. That is consistent throughout the world. The global language is English. Seems that everybody knows a little bit of English, no matter what country you're from. Not everybody, I'm not speaking for everybody, but it is the global language. So moving forward, let's see. Like I said, brands. Let's talk about brands and logos. Yes, at the grocery store, even the bag of potato chips. The logo is going to be the same, even if it's spelled differently because you're in a different language, different country. The logos of Nike, Adidas, purses, all similar. All people from all countries understand logos. They know what it is, even if they can't read it. The logos are similar. Even Michael Jordan was represented around the world from different countries. Gym shoes, sweatshirts, t-shirts. He became a logo of him jumping. So logos are similar. Symbols are similar. Cars, food, culture, religion, and people are all the same. Yes, they're nice. From country to country, they are nice. They are polite. There isn't one person that did not help me if I had a question on the street. It didn't necessarily had to be from France or Italy. They could have been from Korea, from Asia, for any country, because I just went up to any person I asked. I didn't know where they were from. Didn't matter. A person is a person. Everybody has technology. Everybody has a phone. How about logos on the computers? The Apple computer is a huge logo that everybody understands. Computer, the technology is all the same. And then we have the restaurants. Let's talk about the restaurants. Consistent restaurants from America to Europe. Of course, we have McDonald's represented everywhere I turn. It's also in 119 countries out of 195 countries. So McDonald's seems to be a comfort zone and a home to most people in the world because they have it in their country, so they can identify, they can understand, and they know the menu, even if they can't read the menu. All right? So then we have the Starbucks too. Starbucks was represented in most of Europe, except it was not in Italy, because they wanted to keep their people, their smaller businesses, with their cafes and their coffees and their espressos, which is totally fine. Starbucks is in about, I believe, 76 countries thus far. So similar restaurants, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, Subway I've seen, even clothing stores and fashion from H&M, Zara, and a lot of others, Foot Locker. Very similar from America to Europe. More similarities than differences. But the things are what different, not the people. The people, we all have emotions, bodies, like I said, minds and spirits and passions, and things to learn here on planet Earth. Things to learn, to evolve, different lessons to experience. Each one of us are a little bit different inside, and the lessons and the things and the experiences that we will be going through in this life. But at our core, all people around the world are the same, constructed the same. Emotions, bodies, minds, and spirits. We are the same. People are polite from country to country. They are nice. Depends on what your beliefs are about them. If you believe that they are rude, that they are mean, impolite, don't like your country, don't like your culture, then guess what? That's going to be showing up. If you have a good view about them, then that's what will be showing up as well. Watch my video when I was in France, at Notre Dame. I cleared my beliefs, everything that I was told about France, how the people were, how the environment was. I cleared my energy, my thoughts, my mind, even though I didn't experience it, other people did. But I didn't want that to be my experience, so I cleared, I neutralized all those thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs before I moved forward into that country. So my experience was an A, not a B or a C level. Moving forward on the similarities. Music. Let's talk about music. Yes, in Europe so far I've noticed a lot of American music playing. Why? Well, once again, it's the global language, English. English is spoken throughout America. Okay, so American music played on the streets, in the restaurants, in the hostels, everywhere I turned. Even when I got to Italy, I got to France, it was still going. English music. Of course they had their culture as well, but a lot of American music in each one of these countries, even with the language being Italian, French, and Spanish, as I'm in Barcelona, Spain. Let's see. Okay, English global sports. Everybody likes sports in the world. Yes, soccer, known as football in Europe. Okay, and then in America, we're more targeting the football, different sport, and we're also targeting the baseball. But all countries, all people seem to like sports. They like animals. They all have pets, cats or dogs. That's similar too. We all have love inside of our hearts. We have different emotions. We're all similar at their core. There is no difference. Doesn't matter if you're from a different country, a different flag, a different culture, a different religion. It doesn't matter. We're all the same. Strip away all that nonsense. We're the same. One God, one globe, one earth, all human beings on earth. Working together to make this world better, to make yourself better. Moving forward, here we go. We got sports, we got animals. Shoes and clothing are all the same. Like I said, in these countries thus far. Communication, a lot of us, we communicate without even having to know the same language. For instance, I was trying to take a picture at a park, and this Asian man stood up and he moved because he knew I was trying to get a picture. So he just motioned with his hands and his body gestures, and he just got up and allowed me to take the picture without me asking. We communicate. We don't have to know the language. We communicate with hugs and kisses, with thank yous, with yeses and nos. People understand that. Everybody all over the world understands that. You could communicate without knowing the language. Body language is about 80% of how we communicate. So the transportation, like I said, is very similar in these countries. Everybody's traveling, everybody's taking pictures. We also had, like I said, the people are very friendly, polite. Everybody's drinking coffee, everybody's drinking tea and pastries. Everybody's body needs the same thing, wants the same things. Dreams and desires are similar. So those are pretty much covering all the similarities that I have on my list that came off the top of my head as I moved around from country to country. People are the same at our core, okay? Creating a global flag. There actually is one created. It's actually a sacred geometry symbol, and the color is blue, representing the water of the earth. The water represents, I believe it is 75% of the earth. Okay, so moving into just some of the differences that I noticed too. And it wasn't about the people. It wasn't about how the people were different, because I looked at my differences and it was just about how things are run or operated. But the people, again, is the common denominator, the one consistency. People are the same. From country to country, they all have bodies, they all have minds, they all have thoughts, they all have spirits. Okay? So we're the same. Differences. Well, this was interesting. I had to pay for the toilet. All right? We don't have that in America. Keep change on you when you come to Europe, because you will have to pay to go to the bathroom. In most places, not all of places. I saw it more in France as well as Italy. Okay? So some of the places didn't even have toilet seats. So that was different. All right? Driving in the UK, as a lot of people know, they have the steering wheel on the opposite side of the rest of the world. All right? I believe there's a couple other countries besides the UK, like Australia and somewhere in Africa too. They have the steering wheel on the right-hand side of the car and they drive on the opposite side of the road. Very confusing. I definitely think those countries have it backwards. I'm sorry to say, but that's my opinion, and it is very backwards. Hence 95% of the world driving on the other side of the road with the steering wheel on the left-hand side. So that was different. And I did drive in a car, and I experienced that, and it's okay, but definitely not right. The price, the costs, I've heard a lot of talk about how expensive London is, England, so expensive. No, I don't believe so. I believe America is actually more expensive on a lot of levels, except with gasoline. Gas for the car. The pricing was the same. Actually, it was a lot lower. For instance, TV dinner ran about $2.50 to $3.50. In America, you're looking at usually around $4 to $5. All right, even with the exchange rate, because for $1 to the euro, you're looking at $1.31 or $1.33. Okay, but there's no tax at the grocery stores, at the markets, on the food. There's no tax on the clothes that you buy in the stores. They say it's already included, but the cost of the clothes I found to be much lower than in America as well. Plus, you don't get taxed on the clothes nor the food at the grocery store. So Yes, I did notice that France seemed to be more expensive on my travels this far, and I am speaking only for the countries that I have passed, which would be England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Italy, France, and now Spain. So I only speak on behalf of those countries, which is a small representation of Europe, but I am just giving you feedback on my own experiences, what I've noticed between the similarities and some of the differences. So the pricings I noticed, even for the apartments slash flats, I did see that it was cheaper and lower cost. And when I was in Scotland, it was $4.50 for a flat in Oban. Granted, it was a distant off village, but that's a lot cheaper. Even with the conversion, it's about $5.50, and you can't find anything usually for $5.50, at least in a metropolitan or city area within America. And I have crossed America's land quite well, going from pretty much Chicago all the way over to California. Moving forward on the differences, oh yeah, the compact cars, smaller streets. Why in Europe? Well, they accommodated horse and carriage back in the day. So the streets weren't built very wide because they didn't need them very wide. In America, like I said, it was founded in 1776, and they started building around that time, so the streets were bigger. Shortly after, about 100 years later, 150, we had cars coming into play. But in any event, everything seems a bit bigger in America compared to Europe. You know, we have bigger homes, bigger stores, bigger cars, bigger streets. Sometimes overall, when you look at the people in Europe to the people in America, probably the people in America seem to be a little bigger one way or another, okay? So in Europe, the streets, all compact cars in order to fit on the small, narrow streets. Yes, very narrow, pretty crazy in certain places that I was in England and some other places. So America, Do I also have here on my notes, oh yeah, they also have a lot of the automatic, manual cars. So in America we have automatic more so, and that was a little bit different, especially when renting a car. It seemed to be a little bit complicated because they didn't have a mass supply of automatic cars. They also have liters for gasoline. We have gallons, and then they work in Celsius along with the rest of the world, whereas Celsius, Americans work in Fahrenheit. All right. So besides that, oh yeah, kilometers to miles. America uses miles. Most of the world seems to use kilometers. Yeah, and also in Europe, they get taxed about 20% of their income through their salary, and then they're covered with insurance. So any hospital, any doctor, you can pretty much walk in, you're going to be covered, and I'm not even sure if you really have a copay. It actually is pretty much free depending on how much you probably in there. But everybody has insurance. They all could go into a hospital with no issues, no problems. However, there is a longer wait time from my understanding from the people I've talked to. And also I noticed in England, as I really toured a lot of it, from London all the way up to the north, to the north, all the kids, all the schools were in uniform, okay? They really condition people to look the same, dress the same at a young age. And then that takes in your adult life. Everybody does very much dress very similar in England, even in Scotland, a lot of these countries I've noticed. So in America, you see more diversity. America is known for dreams coming true. Go to America, the American dream. Yes, we encourage individualism, following your dreams, following your hopes, following your heart a little bit, okay? But of course, all countries do have colleges and schools, which they all attend. So with England, everybody's in uniform in school, which is very different, everybody. Of course, we have uniforms in America, and they have them in other countries, but it's not the whole country, and it's not all the schools. It's a small percentage of people in uniforms. The whole country of England, all the kids are in uniforms. Besides that, I think that pretty much sums it up on my notes as I've been trucking around through Europe. But the people, at our core, at our roots, we are all the same. Believe it or not, think about it, it's true. So signing out here in Barcelona, Spain, that's Sherry Methling with Ancient Healings Around the World. Show you a little background. Sunny in Barcelona, and what I will add is Barcelona was by far the cleanest city I have been to yet, I think, in my life. It's immaculate. You cannot find any garbage on the streets. It's probably due to all the garbage cans that they have on the streets. This place is so clean. I noticed Rome to be actually very dirty, unfortunately. France was clean, not as clean as Barcelona. Barcelona definitely takes the prize. Besides that, I just noticed in Italy, like I said, the food was mostly Italian. Where in other countries, you could get anything from any country, any culture, everywhere you walked and turned. Actually, in Spain, I was finding it hard to find Spanish food because there are so many other countries represented here in Spain. So signing out, here in Barcelona, Spain, that's Sherry Methling with Ancient Healings Around the World.